Kit. I am playing Naval Action. It's in early access still, but it is a really compelling Age of Sail game. Lots of sailing, lots of cannon, lots of trading, lots of shipbuilding, lots of the Caribbean. Can't show you the map right now. I'm in a battle instance. You're watching me probably going to lose the final exam. So there's a good tutorial and then there's a set of exams. I've been trying to do the final exam. The exams are appropriately hard. I enjoy it. Might also have a fun time with the audio tonight. Here we are having a hailstorm, so hearing lots of hail hitting the windows, hitting the roof, going down the chimney. It's wonderful. But if that's the noise you hear in the background. So I am doing the final exam. It's you're given a Cerberus, which is a nice frigate, 3 masts, 26 guns, and you have to fight 2 other Cerberuses. I have sunk one. You can see it off in the distance there. I didn't actually sink it. I boarded it and captured it. So they're flying a white flag of surrender. They're not a wreck. And I'm being chased by another one. They are in much better shape than I am. You can see up in the upper right, that's how intact their ship is, i.e. completely. In the upper left, that's how intact my ship is, i.e. not very much. There's a port indicator, starboard indicator, there's a fore indicator, an aft indicator, and then down the middle there's your ship's actual structure, which is honestly not doing so hot either. I'm trying to just shoot some chain shot to destroy their sails, but I'm a little bit far away for it still. So if they catch up on me, I will start doing what I can. Did a little damage to their sails. Those are my stern chasers. I've got 2 cannon there on the back of this thing, but they're real low to the water, so it's hard to get a good arcing shot, get some distance. As you can see, I'm making full sail to try and get away from them. Having defeated the first ship and being in such bad repair, I decided to run for it and spend some time repairing my ship. Right now, repair's on cooldown. In about 3 minutes, I will set it going again and try to get a little bit more armor out of this whole thing before turning around to engage Horatio Cabrales, an AI. I, for my part, playing as the best randomly generated name I have ever gotten, Rogelio McLaughlin, very Caribbean pirate name, I think. Tearing up their sails a bit. But until then, I'm going to get stern raked. That's fun. That's just what I'm trying to do. Yeah, definitely. So yeah. Them catching up to me is a bad scene. How's my cooldown? 2 more minutes. I think I can make it, especially because that stern rake is largely ineffectual. So yeah, most of the game you're in an open world or like in port, and both of those interfaces need some work, but this is where the game really shines, here in a battle instance. So you get to control your masts separately. Oh, that hit me. You get to fine-tune sail. You get to fire broadsides or even just 1 cannon at a time, as I'm doing with the stern rakers. Out here, I might fire a whole broadside of 13 shot at once. As you can see, with the wind and with the waves, my broadside goes up and down. So I'm trying to push it as high as I can, and it is not staying all the way high, depending on what the waves do. So yeah, you've got to pay attention to a lot of things when you are involved in naval action, as we call it. It's a pretty fun game. Yeah, they've kind of given up on directly chasing me. I've got about an hour left before I lose this just due to the timer, which is plenty of time, I think. I usually do a one-on-one, 15 minutes or so. I'm just going to get 1 more round of repairs in before I turn around and engage. It feels irresponsible not to with my repair cooldown. so close to ready. So yeah, I like the Age of Sail. I like questions of social history about it, so feel free to ask me that. I can try and answer. I won't always know an answer, but I can at least make things up, or maybe even look them up later. But I also find just the mechanics of sailing really cool. And this game is a pretty deep sim. It really gets into that. So, yeah, I've got half an eye on the chat. The way that naval battles work is not like all twitch and reflexes, so I can pay a little attention over here to if anyone asks anything. And I think we're just about ready to get another round of repairs on. Let's move everyone off the guns. The guns are fully loaded. We'll have a whole bunch of people rush over to doing repairs on the ship. So yeah, you can emphasize or de-emphasize different roles: repair, sailing, gunnery, survival, and boarding. On the left it shows how many crew are currently doing that. On the right it shows how many can effectively do that. So people are moving over from gunnery to repairs. We've got some repairs that I took off of the other ship that I sunk. That one way over there, which I'm now using to patch my hull, maybe repair some armor. You can see my armor and my integrity are going up just a little bit. And once they're ready, and once everyone starts moving off of repair onto other activities, I will turn this thing around. Probably, turning to port, coming around. They'll have the weather gauge, but that's okay. I can deal with that. And start trying to fire off some broadsides, maybe break their stern for a change. So yeah, very quickly, 3-masted, square-rigged. This is a ship in the proper sense. It's a frigate, to be precise. We've got our foremast up by the bow. We've got the mainmast in the middle, and the mizzen in the aft. Mizzen's got a gaff-rigged spanker there, which helps us with our turns. We've got some staysails, which are the sails that run fore to aft between the masts there. They help when the wind is coming from the side. So by being there, the wind presses into them, and through the magic of sails and keel, we move forward. Or, the other things. Rorona Baba asks, is this the final exam? Yeah, this is the final exam. I still haven't finished it, and I was saying just a little bit earlier that this is me probably about to lose it. I haven't made it through yet, but you never know. Tonight might be my lucky night. Have you made it there yourself? Made it through? Oh, I'll hope to hear an answer. Yeah, there's some people watching. This is weird. And yeah, we've got some more hail hitting the flue in the fireplace, so things are going to be a little bit noisy, and I apologize for that. Alright, people are starting to move off of repair. And that means that I think I'm going to turn this around. Let's turn sailing and gunnery on. There are about half crews on each of them. Well, that'll have to do. So now let's execute a tight turn. We're going to wear, which means our stern is going to be to the wind as we turn. We're going to slam the helm all the way to port, slam the foremast likewise to port, and the main and mizzen in the opposite direction to starboard. Because I am pointing downwind, that's how I will execute the tightest turn I can. It has to do with managing wind pressure. It is a delightful thing the game actually models, and I'm very happy with that. Oh. Excellent. Did it, and also on my Alta cap. Alright. Come on. Alts? Really? Oh well. It's all good. And turning this ship around, don't really want to go up into the wind, so I'm going to stop here on a beam reach with the wind directly to my side. I'm going to approach. I'm going to change this to unlocked, which means I get to focus all my cannon in on one point, which is going to be good as they start to come around. Maybe I can get a nice hit in. I'm trying to get it lower, but because of the angle of this whole thing, I can't. Ooh, that all bounced off, which is a thing that happens if you hit armor that is too thick for you. Alright. Let's get our sails back up. Probably shouldn't have slowed down quite that much, but this is what we've got. Oh, damn it. That was still chain. I should have reloaded it with ball, because shooting chain into their hull does nothing. Let's move this thing around. Yeah, I did not do much damage. They're gonna probably sink me. Won't be the first time, probably won't be the last, but one of these days I'll get through this final exam. Anyway, once I finish the final exam, which is, free, it's not like I'm going to destroy the ships I've got sitting in my docks, I will go to the main game, show some of that. Alright, let's get some lead into their hull. That helped. Let's have everyone be reloading this broadside. Let's see if we can just start to hit them a lot. Unfortunately, I'm showing them my starboard, which is almost completely de-armored. You can see there up on the upper left. So they're probably going to sink me first, especially because even my more heavily armored port, where I can move across, is not heavily armored enough. Quick historical note: we say port and starboard now, but at this point they said port, or they said starboard and larboard, which is a terrible term that is far too easy to confuse with starboard. It was not until like the 1850s that the Royal Navy realized that those terms were confusing and they should change them. Yeah, they're gonna sink me first. Yeah, Rorona Babo says I can aim lower if I reduce my heal. Right now I'm actually healing towards them, as you can see, so it's not quite so much of an issue. And I can aim like really low. So I'm not going to bother doing that under the circumstances, especially because I have far too few people manning the sails. The other reason I don't necessarily aim lower is because it's not very good. Gunnery is not my specialty. Let's see if we can get a few more just below the waterline. Because when you get a hit just below the waterline, that's when they start to sink. That's cool. You can just stop reloading. That's a thing you could do. Sure. Why not? Let's tell them to ignore those two and maybe get some gun crew on the broadside that actually matters. There we go, causing some leaks. Funny says I'm alive, which is true. But not for much longer if I keep this up. I'm in the final exam, which I've been repeatedly failing. But I figured I would try once more and try and get lucky this time. Ooh, that was too low. That went right into the water. And I am taking on water for real, which is bad. Watch my slow death. Once you start taking on water, it shows up in the lower left in the little sailing indicator there, and as you can see, it's happening very quickly now that my structure is almost completely gone. It also slows you down a lot, so I'm making full sail, I'm at a decent point of sail for this ship, and I'm just basically dead in the water. So I'm just gonna fire off a big and aspirational broadside, and then I'm going to oh, I can't surrender? Oh, well, I'll just sink. That works too. Yeah, I'm not going to sink this bastard, they're going to sink me, but I can tweak the mix right now. Thanks for the input. Oh yeah, looks like the desktop audio is way high. that down. Move the mic like this. How's that? Is that better? Yeah, no surrender because I literally don't have it as an option. They have me dead to rights, so like, you know, why would they accept my surrender? Maybe I can get off one more broadside. Nope, nope, nope. Cannon, we're below water. There we go. That's me losing the final exam again. Let's leave the battle. Oh well. Next time. Cool. Glad to hear the audio is better. So, here we have the test UI. Please ignore, as it says down in the lower right. This is the port view. I'm in harbor right now. It's not the best. But when we get out in the open world, things will be pretty again. So let's take a look at this. I'm playing as a pirate based out of Mortimer Town, the pirate capital. We're here in the Bahamas. We, as the pirates, we've got control of much of the southern Bahamas, a little bit of Cuba, and the half of Turks and Caicos, while the U.S. have mostly taken over the rest of the Bahamas. It's my aspiration to see a glorious pirate republic in all of the Bahamas, but we're a ways off from that. We also have some of Central America down here. It's an ongoing battle with the Brits to our north and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in Panama, because it's a game and you've got to have more factions. Barono Vabo says, yeah, new UI coming soon. That's true. I've seen some of the stuff that they've been doing for Naval Action Legends, is it? The just like arena fight version of this, and it looks a lot prettier. I would love this map to sort of look historical and not just so modern. I think that would be very cool to have it be, you know, textured appropriately. But, you know, I'm not complaining, it's functional. It'll get us there. So, right now, I want to go out on a little combat mission in my newly outfitted Indefatigable. This is my biggest ship right now. It's a 5th rate. The historical Indefatigable was, I think, actually maybe even a 4th rate that got reseed down to being a 5th rate, a frigate. That meant they took off part of the top deck and moved around the guns. The rating system is based on how many guns you have in the period, and thus in the game. So yeah, the Indefatigable is pretty heavy for a 5th rate. It's almost all the way up into being a 4th. But I just got outfitted with some nice new long cannons, so I'm going to try my best at that, which is not how I've historically played. Seaspite is the name of the user who made it, so crafted by Seaspite. I bought it on the market. Someone named Seaspite had built it, so they got the money. Some of it went to taxes. Taxes support port defenses and things like that, and that's how your money gets used in the game. So yeah, let's see. I'll take out the Indy, or Indefatigable. Don't dare abbreviate names. That seems so inappropriate for the period. Got a few missions. Let's go north, unless the wind is against us, which seems to happen a lot. Make sure I've got some repairs, in case I need to repair like I did last time during that final exam. Yeah, let's try out these long guns. On the map, we need to navigate old school with protractors and setting courses. And then it shows up on our compass, which on the open world is down in the lower right, as opposed to being in the lower left for combat instances. I'm going to sail out past the sandbar here. The wind is pretty favorable. It's almost at our back. Verona Babo says, a lot of experience. Thank you. Yes, I love that. I'm pretty new at it. I've been playing for maybe like a month or so. Really enjoying it. I have some context just from like, you know, actual ships, things about them, but I don't necessarily know much about the details of the game. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Partially I'm doing this stream for a few friends who've expressed interest in the game and kind of wanted to like have a little help getting past the steep learning curve of here, you just dropped in and get a basic cutter and sink it a few times. So I might just be talking about some basic intro stuff as far as you're concerned, but it's all good. There we go. You can see a combat marker. I'll look through the spyglass. So I'm going to click that combat marker. I'm just going to start navigating straight towards it by sight. Don't need those course indicators on the map. Let me actually go full sail instead of half sail, because then we'll go faster. That would have made sense to do from the start. All right. So right now we're on beam reach. The wind is coming across our decks. It's a pretty fast point of sail for any full-rigged ship like this. We're actually a little bit up into the wind, but not too far. The Indefatigable in particular is best on a broad reach, which is when the wind is coming a bit from the stern across, like, you know, if it were, you know, coming from here and out towards the bow. It's always good to know your points of sail on your ship, because if you need to either close quickly or run away quickly, that's useful. Just seeing some other pirates around here. That's a French Renommée. Should be a non-issue. They're far away. Can try and hunt them down later, maybe. One of the other things to do while you're at sea is talk in your clan, nation chat, things like that. Things are a little quiet right now. I'm not seeing tons of chatter. We're getting close, and I will get into another battle instance. As we pass by the shores of Inagua, you can see to our starboard over there is Ocean Bite, another pirate city. You can see it on the map right up there. Alright, we're close enough. Let's get into combat. Alright, so AI combat missions are just one-on-one. You start directly facing each other like that. This is the map I can pull up quickly to show things. I'm going to say make full sail, and then I'm actually not going to try and close with them, because I have long cannons. I want to use them. I want to try and actually control my distance from them a bit. The real salt is on global chat. That's true. Global chat can be surprisingly like respectful and sportsmanlike sometimes, and then sometimes it's just trash talk. It's kind of a fun alternation. All right, the prep timer is done. We're making our sails. I'm going to start angling downwind. And one of the things about the Indefatigable is you don't have enough crew to fully man both sailing and gunnery at the outset. So I'm going to need to actually pay attention and take some men off the sails. I'm turning just with the helm, so that's fine. And then those men will go and get on the guns, and we can start reloading faster. All right, that went way over. Good to know. I'm trying to get a sense for the range on these things, having never used them before. Alright, that landed just in front, so... let's stop wasting broadside and let them close just a little bit, at which point we will rake them with a lot of lead. Made plenty of enemies on global chat. I feel like that's appropriate for Caribbean in this era, right? You've got to talk yourself up and then have people say, oh, if you think you're the fastest gun in the West, as it were, right? One of the things about doing this shot-by-shot sort of sniping that I'm doing is you can't see where your subsequent shots are going just because of all of the smoke from the previous cannon. Let's try this. Testing out range. Oops. They are turning into it. That's bad. Alright. Almost that entire broadside was wasted. Let's hit them with our stern chasers as they go by. And they're mostly going to miss as they try and stern rake us. So small mercies. What are they? I actually forgot to check. They're a surprise. Surprise is a pretty decent 3. There we go. That was a little raking. Barona Babo asks if I already know how to use the F1 through F5 buttons. Yeah, I do. I don't use them too much. I try and do my best to manage the guns just by means of like what I fire when. I should probably pay more attention to them though. Under the circumstances, like my broadside was almost done, and now they're just 2 people doing the stern rakers, and they're ready, and I should get some people back on sailing at this point, because they are gonna break my stern good if I don't turn around right now. Alright. Let's... on the Indefatigable, I just don't feel like I can sail into the wind safely. So let's wear and go the other way. And I'm going to try to maintain some distance from them, because that's part of the whole thing here, right? Wow. Hitting with the stern chasers when you're just turning around like that is it's a gamble. You're not likely to get much out of it. I got 2 dings. Up in the upper right, when I fire, you can see indicators of hull, crew, sails, and leaks that I'm causing or hitting. Let's try one just to... There we go. Yeah. Hull times 8, crew times 2. So that was pretty good. I'm not really using the longs at range as intended. I'm still kind of thinking like I'm in medium cannon range, so I should get used to it more. But practice. That's what this outing is for. It's to see how these new cannon work. Reload faster. So when someone is upwind of you, they have the weather gauge. Having the weather gauge means basically that they can choose whether to engage or not. The AI will pretty much always engage, so it's kind of a non-issue. If you're downwind, you pretty much have one choice, and that is... yeah, that was a wasted shot. If you're downwind, you have one choice, and that is whether to run away or to not run away. You can't force an engagement. With my longs, though, I can try to run away just a little bit. I won't go. I want to go the other way. I can try and run away just a little bit, and maybe hit them while they can't reliably hit me. That's the hope. They keep getting good shots at my stern, and at least wasting some of them, which is nice. But yeah, I am not accustomed to these cannons at all. Let's try and turn around again. And if we're lucky, get into a position to engage with them. Just missed their stern. So I'm turning using my sails as well as my rudder, trying to get my turns as tight as I can. You can control the foremast and the main and mizzen separately, which is really nice, because that's how sailing do, right? Out of all of that, like 5 hits, not the best. Alright, let's turn. Let's not give them another shot at our stern. Working on it. Working on it, working on it. Yeah, longs are different from how I've historically played, which is get as close as possible and just unloose lead into them. Or loose lead? Yeah, not unloose. That was mostly a waste, just sending some cannonballs through their sails. I'm healing over too much to actually have hit them, which is my own fault. And cannonballs into sails don't do much. Chain shot into sails, on the other hand, that's where it starts to get fun. Let's see if I can get some more good hull shots this way. Yeah, that's starting to do a bit of damage to them. Let's get more parallel with them. Let's fire a few more. I think a lot of these are hitting their deck, which is not great. You want to hit below the waterline if at all possible. But again, I'm healing a bit, and so it's possible to get lower. Again, let's get parallel, except then I'm almost into the wind, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be caught in irons, as we say. Mobility is important to me, even on a floating artillery platform like this. So now let's just get some more hull shots in. Okay. And then let's turn, because I am sick of sailing into the wind. Let's tell some people to repair our rudder, because I like mobility, and I don't like having a damaged rudder. To elaborate on what Barona Babo said about using the F keys, let me adjust my sails so I can actually keep this turn tight. Now that I'm pointing downwind, I have to turn them the other way, turn the yards the other way. Ooh, they're through my stern armor. I'm not through any of their armor. Life's unfair. Using the F keys, F1 through 4 let you lock decks and not have them spend time reloading. That was a waste. Almost all of that. Yep, all of that broadside missed them. So F1 through 4 let you lock decks. I only have 2 decks per side, so I would only use F1 and 2. F5 lets you tell them to just stop reloading some of the things, so I could like go to my stern chasers and be like, don't bother reloading that. It puts an R there, so now crew that would otherwise be spending time manning those guns, even while they're unloaded, are going to go and actually do something useful. Kind of doing one by one sniping and doing it poorly. Yeah, I might go for carronades, because I feel like I'm better at sailing than at gunnery, so if I can sail my way up close to them and then just unleash a lot of very short range, very heavy guns, that'll be good. Derspiny asks, how's your cannonball situation? Well, let me show you. If I look at left ammo, you'll see I've got 96 chain shot and unlimited grape and ball. So that's how it is. You don't need to worry about running out of ammo except for chain shot, which and a special shot. You can have double charge and double shot. It's a little funny, like, hey, we've run out of 2 cannonballs to put into each cannon, but we can still put an infinite number of single cannonballs in. Whatever. It's a game mechanic. I'm okay with it. Now, I'm on a beam reach, moving kind of slowly. They're closing with me. They're shooting their bow chasers. Let's turn this thing around. Yeah, wasted shot. Let's actually let them reload that. I don't like having cannons sitting unloaded. Tightening the turn. And let's come out of it. And let's... There we go. Some of that hit, even if the weather deck kind of just breezed on past them. Yeah, we ran out of chains. That makes a little bit more sense. Like, you know, they are distinct from balls, but having double shot or double balls run out when you have infinite balls and shot is whatever. Ooh, nice stern hit there. So the game calculates the angle at which balls come in. Certainly horizontal angle, I think maybe vertical angle, don't know. And adjusts the effective armor that they hit to account for that. So you want to get broadsides flat on to be going through effectively less armor. Like that. That's pretty straight on. Nice 20 hull hits. That's starting to do something. Their hull integrity is starting to go down. And they're going to try and get another stern rake in, so let's keep turning around. When you fire a broadside, the order fire gets shouted, and then the cannons fire, so you need to allow plenty of lead time. There we go, coming around. Gonna get a nice additional set of shots in on them. Let's test the range. That's okay range. And I'm too quick. I'm actually speeding up. Oh no, not too quick. I'm turning around. I left the helm turned the wrong way. That was smart of me. Let's get some urgent repair going, because that rudder needs to be working. So I'm facing their very damaged port, and they're turning around. Don't turn around, I want to keep hitting your port. My port, no, I'm facing their damaged starboard, and now they're turning around to show me their undamaged port. Rorona Babo says you can capture ships. Yeah, I'm not good at the boarding minigame, and you can't actually capture AI ships, correct? You can board them and win that way, but you can't take the ship. I'm not super good at boarding, and I'm not super interested in it. And also, in this particular case, I really want to try out these longs and see how they work. Alright, turn around, show me your starboard, and I will put holes in it. Let's cut our staysails, just to slow us down a little bit, reduce heel a little bit, and if they can line up with us, trying to get the shot as low as I can. That's a nice few shots into the hull. Derspiny asks, isn't port anachronistic? Wouldn't it be larboard at this time? Yes. I mentioned, I think, at the beginning of the stream that the Royal Navy decided in like the 1850s to say port instead of larboard because larboard and starboard sounded too similar. I'm going to say port because larboard and starboard sound too similar. And also because I'm just more used to it. Come on, reload faster. Let's actually take people off of sailing. Just have some more people load the guns. Because I'm pretty okay with our sailing situation right now. I'm getting some other comments. Yeah, okay. I'll deal with those comments later. Because I have cannonballs to fire right now. Hull, 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 crew, cannon, hull, hull, hull. Oh, yes. That did some good damage to them. When a ship starts moving more slowly due to leaks and damage to its structural integrity, it's useful to depower so that you can just run alongside it. But I depowered a little bit too much, and they're picking up speed. So let's join them. One of the other nice things about depowering is that it takes pretty minimal crew to change your stacels. So even with no people on sailing, I was able to power or depower. Ho, ho, ho. Let's get our next broadside in. There we go. That's going to sink him. What is this again? This is a surprise. Surprise, as I said, is a decent 5th rate. I haven't tried it out myself, so I don't know, but it's given me an acceptable challenge. They got through about half of my port armor and all of my stern armor. Breaking my starboard a little bit more here. And it should take about one more full broadside. Let's do another small broadside of 9, and that's enough. Just want to get the other one in for fun. Even though I've sunk them, I think you get a little bit more XP and gold by doing more damage to them. And so while they're not like gone yet, I can take the time to get just a little bit more damage in, and that wasn't much, but it'll do. Now I'm just going to sail on past, so that as they start to sink, I don't have to worry about them shooting me with cannon. Oh right, I have tea. Huh, completely forgot about that. Tea makes the world go round. Alright, Chairdberg. It was nice exchanging broadsides with you, but you should really just acknowledge that you're sinking now. I'm gonna bring this around. If I can do a little more damage, why not? Besides the fact that now I'm almost in irons for this ship. It's Phalian says, did you see the tea versus chai distinction? I just read about this relatively recently. No, I did not, but I'm curious what it is. There we go. I sank Chairdberg. So I can repair in an instance, but it's slow, but safe, because no one else will jump into this instance now. Or I can just leave the battle and repair quickly in the overworld. What is the tea versus chai distinction? Because as far as I know, the distinction is, are you speaking English or are you speaking Hindi? That's good. Some gold, some XP, some combat marks. Let's go from about here, I think is about where we were. Let's go that way. pick up the other one. I don't even need to navigate. I can see it right there. Going to replenish my crew. Not enough crew. Going to cancel this. Going to repair. Oh, Barono Babo says open world repair consumes more repairs. I did not know that. That is very good to know. Well, it's too late. I'm there now, so let's do it. I also feel like I never have too few repairs, so I'm not super concerned about that. Let's get some crew back on here after repairing them with rum, because rum is crew repairs. And we're going to sail almost into the wind. But I'm not going to bother to tack. Oh, it's not that bad. Not that close into the wind. Okay. Its Valiance says Chai is basically from overland trade and T is from sea trade. That's fair. So in a game like this, I guess I have T and that's all. Everything is via sea. Lovely link. I'll check that out later. I do need to pay some attention to, you know, ships and whether there are anyone around that might be hunting me. Nah, I've got the whole sea to myself. That looks nice. Derspiny, someone should stream some Crusader Kings and talk about medieval history until it goes completely off the rails. And that someone should be you, maybe. And then you can have chai. Alright, let's get into this next battle. See what we've got. Enthusiasm, I see. What are we fighting now? Another surprise. Alright, this should be similar. Let's see if I can manage it just a little bit better. Thorin, yes. Where this game gets really fun is not just, you know, grinding AI ships like I'm doing right now, but, you know, fighting with actual humans. I mentioned last night that I you know, harassed some French shipping that should have known better to run away because they could totally have just sailed into the wind in their little fore and aft rig privateer. But sometimes people don't know better, and you get to take advantage of their ignorance and steal their goods and all of that. So one thing I actually did want to say related to all of the chai and tea discussion is that in this game there are a lot of trade goods, and those trade goods include things like tea, actually different kinds of tea. I think this is really cool. I let that too much and didn't raise it up enough. Now, I'm going to wait until we're side by side at least. Its Valiance asks, what sinks a ship? Any hull to 0, any 2 of center port starboard. So you can see in the upper left and right, there are health things for my ship and their ship. The one in the upper right goes away if I don't focus on them, right? Like, not there. Down the middle of that is the structure, and that's what really depends on, or that's what sinking really depends on. Yeah, as per Runababo says. The things on the sides, and top and bottom, are all armor, and those protect your structure. You can lose structure while you still have armor, but the more armor you have, the less likely that is to happen. So, the more armor you have, the more likely you are also to just have cannonballs bounce off of you. Get some folks on sailing now. So if you hit at a bad angle, cannonballs will just bounce off the armor because the effective armor that they're hitting is greater. Like that. Or I'll just miss. That works too. Yeah, earlier versions of the game didn't have a distinct structure meter, so you might find things on YouTube or whatever that don't have that. But at this point we have structure, and I kind of like it. I think it makes what's happening a lot clearer to me. Come on. Come on, just get in there for a broadside. Alright, some of these have got to get through. There we go, starting to destroy their armor a little bit. Now, I'm going to face a bit of a stern raking, unless I can really get my stern out of the way, or they don't fire. Oh, they're reloading. Ha ha ha. That was good timing. Yeah, exposing your stern to them at the moment they're reloading is nicer than doing it when they get to hit you with a broadside. Alright. And this is kind of where I want to be. I want to be sailing side by side because I can take them in this kind of brawl. Fired a little bit too low. Barona Babo says, yeah, armor thickness. So different cannons actually have different penetrative ability at different distances too. So longs maintain their penetration a bit better, but I think overall don't have quite the same like penetration. I'm not sure. I'll have to check other sources on that. And part of what I'm doing, Valiance, is trying out my new longs. Friendly clanmate decided to give me a few longs, and I thought they'd be good. There we go. Got a leak on them. Hit them below the waterline. That's the ticket. We're kind of closing, which scuppers my plans for, using range to my advantage. But should be okay. So, in the actual period we're talking about, Verona Babo says longs have the best range and penetration. Yeah, so if you've got more damage, that means if you do penetrate, you'll wreck, whatever you hit, or you'll shake up the armor more. If you've got... Oh, come on. If you've got more penetration, then you can basically get through the armor. Right, so what I'm doing right now, what I wanted to talk about for a moment, was hulling between wind and water. As they were turning, they were heeling over and exposing a part of their keel that's usually below the waterline to me. If you get hit there, in the actual Age of Sail, that's very bad, because then if you try and tack and go a different direction, suddenly those holes are below the waterline and you're taking on water. I don't know if this game particularly models that, but it's still good to hit them below the waterline, because then they have leaks and have to deal with them. Alright, it's a little smoky right now. Let's just take a moment, get back side to side with them. There we go. It's fair, a ranging shot, just a single. There we go, I'm at a good range. The ship's heeling over a bit, which is going to be undesirable. Yeah, I'm hitting them higher than I'd like to, but it'll be okay. Barona Babo, I really appreciate your input on this. It's good to have someone sanity check me on a game that I don't know too well yet, I hit their sails a bit. Let's wear. They'll get some stern shots in, but I'll survive. Maybe I'll get some sweeping. Ah, that's okay. I only have one stern chaser right now. Guess the other one got damaged. repair it eventually when I get around to repairing things. Alright, coming around. Let's fire some lead into them. A lot of that hits their stern. That's very nice. So last night I got to participate in my first port battle. That was exciting, except it wasn't really. We as pirates ended up taking Ragged Key from the Americans, but the Americans never showed up, so there was no defense. The whole thing was just a matter of, ooh, that one. One cannonball did hull, sails, cannon, and crew damage. That's raking them stem to stern. Anyway, the Americans never showed up, so it was just us pirates getting to hang out in the capture zones and shoot at their fort defenses a little bit until we took Ragged Key. It's a shallow port, so I had to use a smaller ship than this one, but it was kind of interesting, a good first experience, I guess. Oh, that was a bad click. Derspiny says that's a recurring problem with port raids in Puzzle Pirates and Eve. Yeah, I can kind of see it. Part of the way that this works is, like, you can set a time range in which the port battles can happen, and, you know, I'm pretty sure... Oh, nice. I'm pretty sure that they had scheduled this, but I think sometimes people are just like, no, it's not worth it to defend it. Yeah, scheduling around lives is hard. Let's get our stern away from them. Ouch. Yeah, that's a bunch of stern hits. That was bad. At least they weren't hitting us at an angle to rake us. Yeah, by at least putting it into a window, the naval action situation's a little bit better. Just a little higher. There we go. That's doing some good damage to them. Yeah, Barona Babo says, the owner of a port can pay more for a defense timer, so the port can only be attacked in this time. I've encountered that. I'm part of a group, and we've got one port right now, and you can... I was playing around with the port settings a bit, and yeah, you can definitely set a timer for it. The Americans had, and that makes it easier to sort of be like, okay, we'll be around to, you know, we'll be behind the 7-Eleven at 9 p.m. to fight you or whatever, you know? But nonetheless, sometimes people don't want to defend it, people don't want to show up at the scheduled time, whatever. Life happens. There we go. That's a good range. Let's fire more lead into them. And I would say this battle is going smoother than the last one. I've taken somewhat less damage, and they are on their way out. AI ships also carry stuff that you can loot from them if you want. I'm not bothering lately. My warehouse is so full of hull repairs, rig repairs, rum, ship upgrades, stuff like that. Oh, that cannonball would have almost taken my head off. It's nice sometimes to be completely ephemeral. I have no idea what you're talking about, Derspiny. What is the pieces of 11? A few more shots. And that's them done for. Alright. Let's get out of here. Take no more damage. We'll be fine. As they sink inevitably, there's really nothing you can do once your structure's gone, right? It's just a matter of taking your sweet time to die. Ah, pieces of 7-Eleven. I see. So, I don't know much about Puzzle Pirates. I didn't realize it had port battles or similar, like territory control, but I guess that makes sense. One of the things... Yeah, this is just shots for fun. Just taking pot shots at them at this point. One of the things I like about this is that territory control matters for resources. So piracy only makes sense if you have, people shipping goods from place to place, and that is a part of this game, and I kind of really like it. I've done some merchant stuff myself. That aforementioned tea. Like, it's great to just, haul a cargo from place to place and be worried about people attacking you while you do so. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes you want to not worry about it when it's really precious, but I think it's interesting. Piracy doesn't make sense without economics. Economics doesn't make sense without stuff to build. And so this game has a whole shipbuilding system, and it needs that. And that's really kind of exciting to me. I've got some places in Little Inagua and Ocean Bite up here where I'm producing raw materials that I take down to my main setup in Mortimertown. And, I've had situations where I'm being chased by a Swedish frigate in my unarmed trader's brig that's just like full of stone and iron and coal and stuff that I need for shipbuilding. Yes, you actually need stone for ballast, you need iron for fittings, you need coal for forging the iron and stuff like that. Oh my god, I'm into the wind again. Can't deal with it. Need to go faster. It's really actually very fun to be like, oh no, they're catching up to me. Like, can I run away fast enough? Can I outmaneuver them? Can I, use my superior sailing or my, speed upgrades and stuff to just stay out of their guns and not be drawn into a battle? When you have valuable goods and no cannons, because, hey, cannons are heavy. They take up hold space. Then sometimes it's just like, all you can do to try to outsail them. Now, when you're doing a really long journey, maybe it's a little bit more tedious, because a lot of time is spent just like, yep, I'm in the middle of nowhere, no one's going to find me. But overall, it's pretty interesting. If we go up to the map here, you'll see Mortimertown is the pirate capital. Nations' capitals can't be captured, so this is always pirate. It's safe. These areas are pretty safe because they're like, real close to core pirate territory. So, I feel okay building stuff there, and it's a short trip. We also have these marked with stars, free towns. They can't be captured either, but they belong to no one. So anyone can go in there. Anyone can trade there. Having Mortimertown and La Tortue so close is actually pretty great, because you can pick up goods here and trade them in Mortimertown pretty easily. There are, hazards, because everyone knows that ships are going between them. But it's... let's stay further off the wind. But it's not fun without hazards, right? That's what you need to do. Alright. If I tack this way, I'm going to have to turn directly into the wind eventually, and that won't help me. So I'm going to just take a big turnaround just because I can't bear to go slow. It might take me more time, but at least I'll be moving faster. Is that how it goes? Ooh. There's an epic event. Won't be able to participate in that. Ooh, some pirates. Spaniards. We're fine. We're just gonna start turning around. Barona Babo says the wind turns counterclockwise all the time in the open world. Yeah, I know. But if I am this close to Mortimer, it's pretty much going to be coming from my port for most of this. So if I have to turn to the port to get into Mortimer, I'm going to be dead into the wind again. At this point I can go pretty much due south and be okay. And then the problem is if I do a big wide cut, it'll have turned counterclockwise to the point where it's coming from the east or the northeast. And then my life will be bad again. Oh well. Actually, I can go south here and then east, and it'll be an okay tack. Let's try that. So, you start to get to know parts of the coast, and that's kind of cool. Like, I know the, sandbars off to my east here. So if I'm in close with the coast there, I can navigate those. If I'm elsewhere, like, I've taken some trips up the Cuban coast. I don't know that so well, but, like, I kind of know the area around Nuevitas here. And I kind of really like that, using your knowledge of the coast to your advantage. When I was being chased by the Swedes, it was right here outside of Mortimer Town. I was almost home, and I was able to just sort of, squeak around and, use the terrain to my advantage. Out on the open sea, it's just wind, but, when you're getting in close to places, there's more to it. Honestly, that's part of what I like about playing the pirates. In the Bahamas, there's a lot of islands and coastline. Derspiny says, games that can build a sense of place are somewhat rare, and I agree wholeheartedly. However, I think taking advantage of this being a real place like this is kind of great, I imagine there are chunks of the Gulf, there are chunks of this part of the Southern Caribbean where there's not that much going on. But as long as you're, going place to place along the coastline, sailing around the South Keys from Jamaica, stuff like that, you get to know it, and it's kind of cool. Alright. Well, I don't think anyone particularly cares to see me tack slowly into Mortimer Town, so I might call it a night now. That's been about an hour of naval action. I hope it's been somewhat entertaining. I hope to get some future streams in with some PvP and maybe even some port battles so that I can show off how those work. I'd like to show some of my other ships some future times, talk about naval and social and mercantile history and all of that. But yeah, for tonight, I am going to just bid you adieu and fair weather, and catch you another time. Thanks.